Hello friends and welcome back to the channel for war number 5 of season 54. Today we have a matchup against NY718. No surprises on the team today. Void returning once again. Ironheart on the team but doesn't actually get a fight. We'll talk about that momentarily. And then Chavez rounding out the squad. So we're going to start off today on path number 2 in section 1. And first up we have a long shot here on node 2 with drip feed. Now remember, we are immune to the placebo buffs from drip feed, so that's just extra opportunities for us as a tactic attacker for those withered debuffs. Now I do make a mistake here. The first mistake was again forgetting to turn off my algae masteries, but you know, that's just a couple of extra potions. But I forget that the roll with the punches node reduces stun duration when you don't have one of those buffs on you. So at some point here I try and parry heavy to get the slow on him. And the stun wears off right there, and he counters me. Thankfully, again, though, only a double medium. So it's, you know, again, similar to the Thing fight from the last war. It could have been a lot worse here. Longshot is exceptionally annoying in this meta because he has increased ability accuracy, which means that he is almost guaranteed to get that unstoppable on him when a buff expires. So you really have to be careful with him. Alright, moving on, we have a Destroyer here on node 11 with Combat Deja Vu, Placebo, and Sadist. And again, we are immune to the placebo buff, so we're going to be using Medium and then 4 Lights here just for extra opportunities to gain those withers on him. And then we do kind of have to be a little concerned about Sadist because we are going to be placing quite a few debuffs on him. And we want those debuffs, right, in order to prevent his power gain for as long as possible. Now, I do think I get very unlucky with the Petrifies here in this fight. But the withers mostly take care of the power gain that he gets. I also should probably be pushing him more to special 2, because the more special ones he throws, the faster he gains those destruction charges, and the more quickly he's going to get to that power gain phase. The thing I kept telling myself most in this fight is just don't try and intercept him, because that's when you really get in trouble. Now notice that this is a dupe destroyer, but we aren't taking any of the thorns damage, and that is of course because we have so many debuffs on him that Decay is taking care of that, so Void a very safe attacker for Destroyer on this and most other nodes this and next season. One more hit takes him down. Alright, moving up to section 2, we are going to be on path 2 here, and first up we have a Darkhawk here on node 20 with Personal Space, Placebo, and Subterfuge Knockdown. So you can kind of play this one of two ways. You can just play it with like no knockdowns, because there's no like protection here, and you're going to get plenty of debuffs on him just from being a tactic attacker to handle the tactic itself. And Darkhawk, you know, the only defensive threat he presents is the auto block when he gets knocked down. So notice I am not dexing out of the last hit of his beam because I'm trying to avoid triggering those precision buffs from dexterity as much as possible, because the only way to get the slow on him is by knocking him down and thus triggering the auto block here. So we do have one on us there, so we're going to go ahead and heavy him there, and again, a very, very easy fight. Alright, next up we have a WICCAN on 29 with Prey on the Weak and EMP mod. And again, Decay is going to take care of all of that damage from those passive shocks from EMP mod. We won't have too many buffs on us anyways, because the Neutralize from WICCAN when we parry him is going to take care of those buffs. And we are going to be Incinerate immune, so we don't have to worry about getting melted by that. So this is a really weird placement, especially in this tactic. I'm not sure I would place WICCAN here. Alright, so, and again, WICCAN he has like a very, very tiny health pool. Right there, we triggered the Unstoppable, but he went right into a special attack, and we were able to dex out of it without taking any damage. Healing up a little bit from that Neutralize, which is really great. And you know, another very, very easy fight for Void. Alright, moving up to the first mini-boss island, we have a Photon on 37. I've taken this fight a few times now, very comfortable with it at this point with Void. And I've talked before about how it's actually easier now than it was in the previous 2 seasons, where you had that passive heal block, which was eliminating the possibility of reversing the healing from Personal Space. Now again, you can play this, you know, kind of one of two ways. You can go full-on heal reversal and, you know, get those Petrifies up and basically just sit in the corner, allow her to get those regen buffs and just let her health melt herself. I prefer to keep a certain level of aggression in this fight, and that's just because I'm used to playing Void a certain way, trying to spam those special ones as quickly as possible, get those debuffs up, get the damage rolling, and eventually get up to Fear the Void. Now with Photon in particular, again, you can play her, if you know how to properly deal with her special attacks in pure light form, you can safely push her to it, and that's kind of what I do here. There are ways that you can knock her down, trigger the pure light form without giving her a bar of power, if you aren't too comfortable with dealing with her specials here. Right there, I accidentally dex during the middle of her special one. That was definitely on me. Not a mistake I make too often here. And now we're kind of stuck in the corner here, so we intercept with our striker here, push her back up to a bar of power. She throws it right away as I was expecting. We successfully counter it, and now Pure Light form has ended, and she will not have another opportunity to activate it again before the fight is over here. So we got Fear the Void up, we got a bunch of debuffs rolling, and she is melting pretty quickly here. So again, you know, a couple different ways you can play this fight, whatever your comfort level is with both the attacker and the defender. And down she goes. Alright, next up we have an Adam Warlock on 47. You see that bullseye sitting behind him on 49. I was originally going to take that bullseye again with Ironheart. However, one of my battle group mates requested an opportunity to take him with Null. So I kind of just brought Ironheart in as backup. So back to this Adam Warlock fight. I was very tempted to just use Void here, but I did have that open spot on my team and decided in the end just to bring in Chavez, who is a champion that I've used for this fight before. So as you can see, we're going for only full heavies to keep as many copies of the negative zone up as possible, and that's going to keep a lid on and ultimately reverse his natural power gain, which is nice. And then we're going to hold to our special 3, which is a strategy that I've been using more and more in this particular fight, and that's just to limit the opportunities for him to trigger the falter for missing in action, because he will trigger that vigilance buff once when you get a bar of power, and he will still gain other buffs throughout the fight, so you're not completely eliminating that falter, you just kind of have to pay attention to it here. I am running Mystic Powerbacks, I think, here. They don't really end up doing much from the Special 3. They're more appropriate for Chavez if you're going to be using Special 2s and you know, properly cycling through her dimensions, which we aren't doing in this fight here. So I also do a good job of managing his pod in this fight, which is a mistake that I have made many times previously in this fight, where I'm like launching specials into his pod and it's negating almost all the damage. So kind of keeping like one eye on his side of the screen, watching for that, like, you know, stasis pod incoming text, and then right there it triggers. So I don't finish off the heavy, I back off, wait for the pod to finish, and then I go ahead, I think, and fire off the striker, and I see that he's faltered, and so in the middle of the heavy, I go ahead and fire off the special 3 before he recovers from that stun and punishes me. So here, as you can see, the special 3 doesn't really do that much damage. It does push him over a bar of power, so we can go ahead and bait out this special 1. He hasn't thrown any special 2s in this fight, which is great, so he hasn't regened any damage, and ends up being a very straightforward, very, very clean fight. Happy with that one for sure. Alright, unfortunately, we once again did not come away with the win in this one. 6 kills for me, 0 deaths, and our record on the season falls to 1-4. Folks, hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know once again how you and your alliance are doing in this season, and let me know if you are enjoying the tactic, if it's like a nice break from previous tactics that are more challenging, or if you're kind of on like my side of the fence and prefer some, you know, a little bit more challenge in your war tactics. Really interested to see kind of how yous are feeling about that. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments below. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. And as always, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again next time.